Imeall anocht, ceiliúra lá idirnáisiúnta na man, le Imeall. Trúr ban a chur síos bhan alíontóirí eisceachtúla airneacha. An scríbhneoirt Americánach Lucy Ellman a caint faoin na thuairisceil feminach Mimi. Ban airclin a ranganí chúis, Áine Moynihan. Agus séthar ómóis den alíontóirt Ildánach Agnes Burnell nach Martin.
Mi sé Una Mullally agus is í Sinead O'Connor má leach na Halína. Ceapan daoine faoin conspóid nuair a labhraíonn tú faoi Sinead O'Connor. Agus ceoltóir den scoí tá sí an amhrán comhálainn comhcliste a scríb. Darn go smaoineann gach aine faoi Nothing Compares to You an amhrán Prince. Ach dom féin sé mandinka. Bhí sé ar an telefísnar bhí sí 8, 9, bhí sé fíors cuachtach ar fad chun í eáil an punk beag seo as blá clia. Beidir smaoineann daoine ar na tridanna a bhíonn aici in aghaidh daoine tá politicúil nó Bono nó Pope nó Miley Cyrus fiú ach tá an fargach sin agus an tinne sin las siad de Sinead O'Connor mar réasún a bhfuil a chuid alína agus a chuid ceol fós cuachtach darlam. Tá anna chuid ceoltóirí, sa daint, is a gcuin sin ach nílach gohí, nílach cúpla gohí rilí a bhfuil tú an rá sin sin an rud, sin an dríocht, daoine mar Amy Winehouse, Nina Simone, agus Sinead O'Connor mar ceann na daoine sin tom cinnte. Tá rud dríochtach atá sin an cruthú ar an státe agus ina gceol.
My name is Lelia Doolan and I'm wanting to say a few words in praise of Margaretta D'Arcy. An indomitable, amazing woman, writer, activist, hilarious character, awkward, difficult, wonderful person. She's written huge numbers of books, plays, short stories, sketches with her husband, the late great John Arden, and they collaborated in a whole series of very important peace moves. And they always found wonderful slogans. Margaretta always, I have to say, was a great woman for an original artistic attitude towards protest. The most important of which, of course, is the use of Shannon as a war port, she would say, I would agree, among other things, of course.
I chased the judge out of the court. He didn't know what to do with me.
She's an international figure. I mean, she knows most jails. She's now in Mountjoy Jail. I wish her the best of everything because, of course, her new job is to reform the prison system from the inside. I had a letter from her last week from Limerick Jail, and she says, it's all work outside to keep going. The real work, at least, is to focus on Shannon Warport. Perhaps, if we do, the miracle will happen. Maybe it is all a bit of loose theatre. I hope it will slightly shake the powers that be. Margaretta, keep on shaking the powers that be.
Sinead ní bhaine sanam dom, agus nuair bhí mé freastal ar an gláiste, tháinig mé ar an alíontóir Alice Marr. Bhí sé anna himil domsa gur banna bhí intí. Sa chláiste alína ag an am, bhí anna chud fear curtha i láthair ag na léachtóirí, agus bhí anna chud fear léirithe na leabhar star na halína. Bhí anna chud beidir béimar na fear massam I ggóthaic san alín agus na saoil alína, agus bhí gantanas na manó, agus bhí sé sin simúil dúine. Níl méid grá gur roinnig mé I meallach politicúil beidir, ach roinnig mé I tuiscraibh an alín féin haar cín. Agus thug sí agus rinne sé annach chuid alín icónach massam. Is alíntóir í le clúgus cóil náisiúnta agus idirnáisiúnta. Agus bhí spántas fiile a bhuaig go mór a bhaimar mar alíntóir i 2007 san Acad a Bhríoga Ibrithe, the Night Garden. Agus ceannig mé an fáilseáin seo is cuioine mé ganán. Agus cuinig mé agus bhí sé anna himú mar massam féin ghfuil caidan an fáilseáin féin comá sin, ghfuil sé beganín cosúla alín é hain. Tá sé anna himú go déana chud saothar go mór bhaim ar na glúnta agsúla. Mar hampla rinne si tá spántas ar bhrenach Imeall, Becoming, agus bhí sé anna himú brathnú ar an lucht féchana. Bhí an lucht féchana Harbh óg. Bhí muintir na cloiste alín ar fad ag freastal ar an tá spánta seo. Agus bhí idir cappa céhí an alíntóir seo nach raibh éanaithna go méir. Agus bhí sé sin anna himú domsa mar níor hiic mé ibrahén chunas nach raibh éanaithna beidir ag rointómh orthaí. Agus an sin bhí mé cappa tá sé ionta cuachtach é sin eco alíntóir tá tréis bheith mór hímpel ar fanna blianta ag dul go mór bhaim ar na glúnta nua seo, an glún óg. So bín ansim agam a gcónaí is saothar alas mar. Ba go Joan an óir, agus ba againn ar fád dearn. Sí me léach.
As Illinois America den uorscéirí Lucy Elmanach is a gahar bhór na litríochta dúnéidean atá sé cur fuaí le bliantanús. Agus is ann go dtáinna bhualas le ag féile idirnáisiúnta learachúnéidean le leart le faoin uorscéilis déanacha, Mimi. Lucy, you're here to read from your 6th novel, Mimi. Tell me a little bit about that novel.
It's about a woman who gets to say everything she wants to say, and a man who needs a little help seeing what's wrong with the world, really. And he learns a lot through listening to her and falling in love with her.
Would it be too facile or too simplistic to call it a feminist novel?
Oh, I like that. I've written 6 feminist novels now. The first 5 were just very angry rants, and this time I decided to find the solution as well, to offer a solution instead of just complaining. And so this has a solution in it to this whole problem of male domination, which has to be ended completely.
I suppose we could talk about the gender imbalance in the political sphere and the economic sphere and that, but in the literary world, tell me a little bit about the imbalance there that exists.
Well, I've never really had to deal with that kind of thing, except that once I was asked by the illustrator for the cover whether my book was intended for men or women, or both, I suppose. And I was really insulted. I'm not just writing for women. Who would? Who would write just for men? You know, books are published by women, and women buy them. Women buy books by men and women. Men seem to only want to buy books by men, and they only want to talk about books by men. And it's just ridiculous.
Your father, of course, is a towering literary figure, a biographer of Joyce and Wilde. Was it difficult to show him your work when you started writing?
He was surprisingly supportive, because I thought he would think, well, what I thought myself, why am I bothering to do this? And he was really very kind about it.
Did his passion for Irish literature, did that rub off on you at any point?
Yeah, I was scared to death of writing a novel because of Joyce.
He's terrified a lot of people, I think.
Well, there just seems no point, really. He's done everything with the novel that needs to be done. And I've never known what I'm doing, really, writing a novel after Joyce. But it's fun, so I keep going. And some people want to read things that aren't Joyce, I guess, now and then.
Does feminism give you a sense of cause more than just telling a story, a novel?
Yeah, I think more and more so. I think I'm learning how to tell a story, too. Now, that took a long time. But from the beginning, feminism was a major influence to say this stuff that has to be said until it's finally heard.
Do you think that there might be a sense of ageism in the literary world. When people are putting festivals together, the program, if there's a very photogenic author, very often they'll be included in that program. Do you think that's a feature too?
I think they're just all over the place at the moment, publishers. They don't know what to do. They keep backing the debut novels of anyone who looks good. And it's very depressing that it's not about how you look writing a novel. I think there is a bit too much emphasis on the young rather than the quality of what they're writing. But if you write a great book when you're very young, that's fine with me. I don't mind. You can look as good as you want. Good luck to you. For as long as it lasts.
Fáilte Harnash. Bhí Anya Moynihan ina hastóir le Harclan na Manistrach a chlach sí sus fada an stáitse le clánahogant in áitina agsúla lena céile fir. Ach nuair bhíon galar na drámaíochtar rinne is dachar an ruige chuir, agus tá sin is ina stúrthairt a líana an lab sa dagan. Chuig cahal portérán chun leart le foioine saoil san Harclan.
Anya, tá muid seo in Harclan an lab a sean scoil na mráithre sa dagan. Harclan gur thuirta héin tús leis chuig bhliain ó hin. Ach, cén do bhaint héin le cuasaí Harclaníochta siar óhád. Cé ho fada siar? Cén áitir hasú tú chur spéisiá?
Cho fada siar lem chuoine is tócha go bheith fárá cathal. Nuair bhís im chalín óg bhín a chur drámaí arsúil in gráistin na górsan hís i bharna i Loch Arman an áit inar rugach mé, agus inar tógach mé. So tócha go raibh sé onam de léagand. Dairig lom áiteach a gháilte sa scoil eistóireachta in Harclan na Manistrach. Agus ilach im eistóir mé, agus bhís chusásta na léhananta san im leat lí ag réthónal scoil go dtí Harclan na Manistrach agus tréis dom mo chéim a bhaintach agus eile Ionas Roint ibre in Harclan timpeall na Cathrach idir Gaeilge agus Béarla sa Fécóg, sa Damer, san Olympia, go leor áitina.
Agus buineann cuasaí drámaíochta le de fású agus le leathéin agus dar chéile teach le chéile ar an chéadúil síos.
Ó, an ceart agat, beag ná raibh sé sin drúta gom. An ceart agat, bhís pórteach an Róma sa Fécóg a bhí scríte ag Pádraig Ó Maolainn mai ar an lascéad mór. Agus bhí mar chéile fergal i le ling na léhananta san bhíoh sé tachtan sacht ó bhí sé ina ladóg in áíire agus dálaigh sé is fidléir bhailedoré agus dálaigh sé chuid ceol ar fad hísan sa ó gálaí. Nuair a bhí Paddy Malone le a ceoltóir chun seint sa dráma seo ar le héadí chuoinnig sé ar airgil mar dar nó bhíochan chur a chéile. So chasamar le chéile literally sa green room istigh sa Fécóg den géadúir agus dairig characters adring. Well, déirtha.
Inéireadh hir fáisibh agus an sin bhí ar sibh héin a chathú in éis.
Bhí agus ní raibh sé fuirist na léhananta. Bhí sé díon go leor ar airgil an tathhrú san i dhéanamh agus tréis tamil anyway deistríam go dtí ina sir. Agus chahamar 5 bliana in ar gcónaíonn ina sir agus a son bhogamar go dtí cléire, Ileán Chléire, agus chahamar 5 bliana eile ag marachtant an son. Cé go raibh sé anna dheachar éireas blaat lia domsa. Well, ní éireas blaat lia per se, ach éireas cuasaí Harclaníochta agus cuasaí Ibre agus mo chóirde. Bhí sé anna háachta dom go mbeidh ag baile leis na leanaí agus iad óg.
Agus cén uair a hasú tú a chur do chosc isteach in iscin na drámaíochta a ríist?
A ríist, ní go dtí, well, spóg dhéanas chorrod, but ní go dtí gur rámar socrathe i ggur go gcuoine roint blianta. Le ling an am sin ar fad, bhí sa gobal a daoine óga go dúnach, bhí sais cólacht beag Harclaníochta na nóga gom. Nuair bhí mo chuitéin óg agus a gáirde agus eile i ggur go gcuoine mo nó chuoin. Agus bhí sé sin sais ag fós agus I rith na blianta san, ní raibh éon spás a gcuoin. Agus hánas isteach an fiochantéir agus an tómar sa hana bhfuil míid site be an lab ó líochta sa scoil. Thugus féin ara go raibh ceithre oscailt sa ceithre chuoine, go raibh síláil bra ordan agus go raibh dóthain spáis istigh an ba bhéad faoi rud éigean fiúntaach a dhéanamh leis. Bíonn taispánta sí rialta a gcuing an sa, bíonn ceolcharmacha, bíonn léamh filíochta, tá seo rince chhlaachta fé láthair, agus beic sé sin ar stáitse go lua. Bín daoine óga chhlaachta ceoil an sa chomá agus hála go raibh sort seminar arsúil an sa going leis na gcósan Celtacha hí daoine tris tactos tíortha mór himpeall na Rópa go dtí an lab agus bhí na daoine óga ag seint dóibh. So, is meascáin des na halíonn go léir agus is bralumsa nuair bhín na spásanna ar fad in úsáid. Luascáin. Tógam im bhaclan is cirimid híthú leis stig den lúscadáin a dhéon dearthaid go slachtfar as aimmuid. Fráma cosantach timpealart, lábha beaga gramathe le mada chun tosaigh.
Chomáid leis an obair sin go léir bíonn tú ag scríomh leathéin agus ag scríomh filiocht dáil sí Doghouse do cheadhhaile an filiocht a roinnt blianta ó hin. Ca bhainn tú an tam dul bhhalach le filiocht a scríomh?
Well, faríor ní raim an tam na léhananta sa scríoch é sin thar blianta fada. Bhíidir istigh moscí féin lebe. Bhain cuid bhacha leis na blianta ar na hiileáin chun fearing rá. Nuair ná bíoch éon eistóireachta nó éon drámaíocht arsúla gom, is dóilm gur thug sé oscailtéigent nó bhí beidir gur bhrethas uim rud éigent agus bhí an scríbhneoireacht mar sort, I suppose, just go raibh sé mar ní chatham aimsre, but beidir sais therapy fiú. Ligam don luascáin muilú, is ordaí mar ríis tú go réanis. Líon tú isteach liom is déana mar an dig. Tusa ar bhuir na dairimh, mise ar halamh trim.
Began séhir Agnes le feicáil sa project im leá clia an 2 go dtíon dar lá fihead de bhí an bhórta. Séhir uair le David Bolger agus Cuiscéim a dhéanann ceiliúra ar alíontóirt ildánach a chuig go bhaim go mór ar phobal alíonn na tíorsa. Ach céir bhí Agnes Burnell?
I'm a little antique, but frankly, who cares? I can sing you my songs just the same, and you'll have to admit they're fairly unique. And I've been a long time at this game.
I had a pretty cousin.
Exotic, motherly, and strange.
A one-off, cat-loving, phenomenal stage presence.
You didn't know if she's going to kiss you or kill you. You didn't know.
Agnes Burnell was from Germany. She was a Jewish cabaret singer who had to flee her country and arrived into England, and then from England married her husband and moved back to Ireland, where she got involved with the music and theatre and arts. And we were blessed that she came to our shores.
I jumped into a taxi.
I don't really remember when I first met her because I grew up beside her in Sannymount on Strand Road, and so I suppose I grew up knowing of this woman. But when I remember in her sitting room, she'd a photo album, but just opening it and looking at these photographs of the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my life.
Olivia, she does not live here anymore, my lady. Olivia, she does not live here, pas non plus.
In the piece, Agnes, that we're in the middle of making, in a way I want to honour what I learned from her and who she was. I'm trying to work with the dancers on, firstly, how I remember Agnes might have performed. She walked on and took over the stage.
She'd be very still, and she had the most beautiful kind of penetrating eyes. And I kind of like joked, it's like the Jungle Book snake, you just were hypnotised, you know, towards her.
The melodrama, and everything was slow. And then the words would come out like a punch. It was like bam, bam, bam. I says, wow. It all looks very elegant and 1930s and decadent. And then she'd take out this little razor blade and slit your throat. So that's what it was like.
There's his face on the 6 o'clock news. There are volunteers.
Agnes used to throw great parties. You'd hear, Agnes, Agnes, darling. You'd hear all these these elaborate words. And we used to sneak out when we were kids and go around the back of the garden and look over the garden wall. And I just remember the garden is full of what I thought were the most exotic, beautiful people that I'd ever seen.
I was in a band when I was a young guy in 1978 in the Virgin Prunes. I remember being on stage and seeing this extraordinary, in a sea of pogoing punks, seeing this extraordinary woman that was like probably in her late 50s, maybe early 60s, with a feather boa and a black cape and a big cigarette on a cigarette holder, blowing smoke up in the air. And it was Agnes Burnell, and she came backstage afterwards and said, I would like to invite yourself and the other young man for tea in Sandymount. So on the Sunday, we went to Sandymount for tea, afternoon tea. Basically transformed my life, musically and mentally.
There was an amazing kind of club in Dublin called the Da Club, which stood for the Dublin Arts Club. The likes of kind of Jack L and the Newlands and myself, and Agnes was there. She was in her 70s then. I just went up to her and told her, you know, how much I admired her, and I love singing, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I should go for training. And she was like, oh, darling. She said, you know, it's no use in going for this training malarkey. And she says, and don't be learning how to sing.
Without a plane, but somewhere in the back of her.
What she had was she knew how to do this thing they call songspiel, which is singing, speaking. Usually in a monologue there's a resolve. You explain the story, and by the end the last few lines are what makes the audience think or provokes them into thinking. And she knew how to do that in singing. So she'd know how to, you know, sing it, speak it, nail it, deliver it, and for them then on the last two lines maybe to understand it. It was a kind of real turning point. I'll never forget that night of kind of meeting her.
With the greatest of ease, I cause laughter and sobs, though some songs may not please some of you who are snobs. I sing what I know. Yes, I know what I sing. That is clear once the evening starts. And a lot of the themes of the songs that I bring may remain evermore in your hearts. And I don't give a damn if I can't reach top C. And I go off the note by pure choice. And my soul may be sad, but my spirit is free, and I don't only sing with my voice.
There are probably a whole generation of people that wouldn't know who Agnes was, and how could they? And I'm hoping that actually this will help people try and understand a little bit about her. And with the fact that we have Agnes's voice on recordings and her pictures and her images and my memory of her, I've been really trying to be as open as possible as a choreographer and trying to let almost Agnes be the artistic director. I'm continually come across people who have, I suppose, been touched by a performance of hers. I think she definitely did bring an energy and a kind of a newness and a vibrancy to Ireland and to the arts here.
Let's say she didn't do boring. I loved her.
With her singing, you always went away. You might have had a bit of a cry and you thought about it. And that takes guts as a performer. It was kind of amazing that we had somebody as amazing as her in Dublin.
And as for the monkey that life makes of us, my own life has taught me it's true. So my songs always tell what this crazy life does. Now I think I will sing you a few.
Seabígan damta ríist an teachtain se chuin bheith chlár speisialtagan a techt ó Ghaeltacht Rún na ngáil agus na múlamid le Haliantóirí an Cheantarsan.